The International Monetary Fund, what I came to talk to you about, cutting its global growth outlook for 2016 to 3.4%. That's down 0.2 on the back of a weaker outlook for the U.S., but also sharply weaker growth in some developing economies due to the decline in oil and other commodity prices. But earlier this morning, Chief IMF economist Maurice Obstfeld says the global markets are overreacting to lower oil prices and missing the silver lining for consumers.
It's not a stretch to suggest that they may be reacting very strongly to rather small bits of evidence in an environment of heightened volatility and risk aversion.
Here's how it breaks down. Advanced economies, you know, in a world of low expectations, these guys are meeting it. The U.S. at 2.6%, down 0.2. Europe unchanged at 1.7. Japan 1%. That's unchanged from the prior forecast. And the U.K. 2.2%. It would be a wonderful world if we could add a percentage point to all of those economies. The IMF saying a modest and uneven recovery is expected to continue in these developed economies with a gradual further narrowing of output gaps. That is the amount of slack in the economy. But a big story here in the emerging markets. And you can see here overall down 0.2 at 4.3%. Russia down, seen contracting now a full percentage point. That's down 0.4. China unchanged at 6.3. And there's maybe Michelle's favorite basket case country right now. Brazil down 3.5, where the downward revision is almost equal to the expected growth right there. Down 3.5, seen contracting. Saudi Arabia 1.2. That's down 8 percentage points. IMF saying on these emerging markets now confronting a new reality of lower growth with cyclical and structural forces undermining the traditional growth paradigm. You can do something about structural, not necessarily cyclical. And then just back to focus here on the U.S., our rapid update of tracking forecast showing just 0.8% for the first time last week. That went down below a percentage point for the fourth quarter. And the CNBC Fed survey finding the probability of recession ticking up to 29%, the second highest in the 5-year history. So it's not off the charts. We've been higher before, and when we were higher, it did not necessarily lead to a recession, but it is high. The recession probability is higher on the minds of economists out there.
Because of the big sell-off in the markets, basically.
I think that's a piece of it. I really think it's the slower growth. There's two factors that are weighing on the minds of economists. One, when you get down into this just a percentage point of growth, you have less cushion for a shock. And you get another shock to the economy. The second is the lack of bullets at the Fed. If you go into a recession with a 3% funds rate, you have 3 percentage points to cut. They don't have that here, so there's less insurance out there. Obviously, there's potential QE. There's backing off the expected 4 hikes in terms of the Fed's ammunition, and, of course, negative rates.